Serena Vance didn't show up on the day of our engagement. Instead, she was busy confessing her love to a rising pop star with a citywide fireworks display, an event that immediately started trending on social media. I proposed ending the engagement. She laughed loudly at the suggestion. End the engagement? Could you really bear to part with my family's shares? Could you bear to lose the money? Her voice dripped with disdain. If you like living off us so much, just keep doing it. She didn't know that I had already resigned from the board of Vance Enterprises. I was leaving. The engagement ceremony between Serena and me was meant to be grand, with the industry's elite all in attendance. Because Serena loved pink roses, the venue had been transformed into a sea of tens of thousands of them. When I walked out in my custom-tailored suit, I could hear the sharp intake of breath from the crowd. Director Sterling is so handsome. He and Serena really are a power couple, made for each other. He can make money, and he looks like a movie star. The Vance family really found a treasure. But the leading lady, Serena Vance, was nowhere to be found. Her father's face grew darker by the minute. The guest began to whisper. My assistant shook his head at me, signaling that he still couldn't reach her. I felt a dull ache in my head. When Richard Vance, her father, had first suggested we get engaged, Serena had acted indifferent but agreed readily enough. At the time, I asked if she was sincere, given her recent cold attitude toward me. We're going to get married anyway, she had said with a shrug. If we're engaging, let's just engage. That response made me think Serena still had feelings for me. It reignited a hope in my heart that had already begun to fade. No matter how rebellious or unruly Serena was, I had always been different to her. Just like when she used to follow me everywhere, calling my name, Caleb, over and over again. I touched the red braided cord on my left wrist. It was a simple, cheap bracelet, but I had worn it for over a decade because it was the first gift Serena ever gave me. Another assistant anxiously called me into a nearby lounge and held up a phone for me to see. In the video, fireworks were exploding beautifully across the night sky. Under the lights, Serena, wearing a shimmering gold mermaid-style gown, was shouting, Julian Day, I love you. Julian was a young actor who had just found fame in a hit streaming series. He looked a bit shy as he took the flowers from Serena, and amidst chants of, get together, from the crowd, he wrapped his arm around her waist. It was a live stream broadcast directly from Serena's social media account. She was active online as a socialite and wealthy heiress, boasting millions of followers. Someone off camera asked Serena what she liked about Julian. She flashed a bright, stunning smile. I like his youthful vibe. He's so fresh and clean. The crowd laughed. Unexpectedly, Serena asked back, why don't you ask me what kind of men I hate? The people around her, sensing the drama, immediately asked. Serena's lips curled into a mocking smile as she articulated every word. I hate those patronizing, preaching, controlling men the most. She stared directly into the camera lens, as if speaking to one specific person on the other side. Probably only I knew who she was talking about. It was me. I did often try to persuade her, stop her from going on unsafe trips to dangerous parts of the world. I would advise her earnestly, and she would look at me with annoyance and say, have you heard of mansplainers? That's you, Caleb Sterling. Her voice echoed in my memory as I prepared to go to a board meeting in a suit. You wear that and think you look mature and steady? Actually, you look pompous. Thinking of this, my heart felt bitter. The livestream comments were flooded with relationship goals and fans agreeing, yes, patronizing boyfriends are the worst. So stuck in their ways, always preaching, so fake. I hate daddy-style boyfriends. I calmly handed the phone back to the assistant, showing no emotion. The engagement party proceeds as normal. If anyone asks, say Serena was delayed by something urgent on the way. Have PR handle this scandal Serena caused immediately. Get it off the trending topics, delete the related videos, and manage the media. I adjusted my cuffs. The assistant rushed off to arrange it. I completed the engagement ceremony amidst gazes filled with a mix of sympathy and mockery. It didn't matter, as long as Vance Enterprises' stock wasn't affected. I waited in the living room until the early hours of the morning before Serena finally came home. Her father was furious about her absence and had threatened to teach her a harsh lesson. I persuaded him to leave. The father-daughter relationship was already strained, and lecturing Serena would only backfire. She was the type who responded to softness, not force. You wanted me? Serena tossed her coat onto me and kicked off her heels. Her beautiful, shifting eyes scrutinized me, cold and devoid of affection, calling me like you're chasing a debt. I rubbed my temples, feeling incredibly exhausted. I was only in my 20s, yet I often felt drained. Perhaps when the heart ages, the body follows. No wonder Serena said I acted like an old man. Did you not know today was the engagement? She chuckled. I knew. So. So what? I wasn't there, but didn't we get engaged anyway? Everyone out there is saying you're my fiancé now. She laughed again. Don't mention it. My friends are envious. They say I found such an excellent fiancé. Haha, they should be envious of you. Without the Vance family, how could a live-in son-in-law sit on a fortune worth billions? I clenched my fists tightly, my knuckles aching from the pressure, but my voice remained calm. Since you didn't want this, why did you agree to the engagement? It's hard to explain to the board. If you like that little star, you could have just said so beforehand. Do you know this will affect the company's stock? Serena sneered. All you see is stock. All you see is money, right? I didn't agree to the engagement, but did I have a choice? I'm not stupid. You control my social media accounts, my assistants. You call the shots at Vance Enterprises. Even the old man listens to you. She stepped closer. If I said no, you'd cut off my cards, wouldn't you? I try to suppress my emotions. I can resign from Vance Enterprises, just so you don't misunderstand. Resign. She paused, then laughed with contempt. Resign and marry me? Right? Only by marrying me can you truly get your hands on the Vance family shares. Otherwise, even if you sell your life to this family, you won't see any equity. The old man is smart. If your last name isn't Vance, don't dream of getting a single share. My heart suddenly went cold. Serena mocked me at every turn, claiming I only cared about money, that I wanted to fight her for the inheritance. She was convinced of it, and any defense I offered was pale and powerless. Seeing my silence, Serena's lips curved into a sarcastic arc. Hit the nail on the head, didn't I? Caleb Sterling, for the sake of money, you really know how to endure. I can endure, yes, but she was only half right. 15 years ago, my parents died in a car accident. How could a young child protect a vast fortune? Relatives swept in under the guise of adopting me, stripped away all the assets, and then kicked me out. I was starving when Richard Vance took me in. I wanted to live. I wanted a place with food and warmth. More than that, I wanted a platform to change my life. It was a lifeline. I had no choice. When I first met Serena, she flashed a bright smile at me. Don't be afraid. My family has plenty of money. No one will bully you anymore. That smile had illuminated my entire youth. We were once close. Her heart was full of me and mine of her. But later, everything changed. I became the person she loathed the most. Perhaps it was because I was diligent and hardworking while Serena was playful and rebellious. Her father valued me more and more, while his relationship with Serena deteriorated. Perhaps it was because her mother discovered that my mother was a female classmate Richard had once secretly loved. Whenever Serena's mother saw me, she used it as an excuse to fight with Richard. During those arguments, I would hide in silence. Serena's look toward me grew increasingly complex. Finally, when her mother passed away from illness, in Serena's eyes, both her father and I became the murderers who caused her mother's death. When she looked at me now, her dark eyes were cold, filled with ridicule. Everything had changed. In the following days, Serena didn't come home. She was either at Julian Day's filming set or being photographed entering hotels with him. I held a photo of Serena and Julian looking at each other. In the picture, Serena's eyes were curved in a smile, a relaxed, genuine smile I hadn't seen in a long time. It was thoroughly pointless. I turned the photo over and said to my assistant, "Let's begin." I started the handover process. Since I was resigning voluntarily and leaving the group of my own accord, it went smoothly and quickly. Tomorrow, my career at Vance Enterprises would end. Finally, I went to Richard Vance's office. It took 2 days to convince him. My mind was made up. No one could keep me. He was silent for a long time. "You are excellent, Caleb. It's Serena who doesn't cherish you." "Uncle Richard, thank you. If you hadn't taken me in, I wouldn't be here today." Richard sighed. "The group's successful transition is largely due to your credit. The company needs you more and more. Can you not go? I'll handle that little actor." "No need, Uncle Richard. You can't force things. Serena has never had a shortage of guys around her. The problem between us isn't caused by Julian Day. Leaving is best for everyone. Otherwise, how can we restart? No one is indispensable." While I was packing my things at the residence, Serena stormed in. "Caleb Sterling, did you use your power to switch actors to force Julian to break up with me? You are shameless. You are despicable." Serena had been intentionally flaunting her affection for Julian Day, and with the news of our engagement spreading, it inevitably caused tremors in Vance Enterprises stock. The company couldn't tolerate this situation. "Uncle Richard arranged it," I said calmly. "He was concerned about the stock drop, so he had someone talk to Julian. If he didn't break up with you, they'd recast his role. If he agreed to break up, they'd give him a new project. There was no need to hide it. Better to be clear." But Serena wasn't listening. She was gasping with rage, looking at me with hostility. Suddenly she said, "Are you a dog?" I froze. "You listen to everything he says. You do whatever he tells you to do. You really are obedient, aren't you?" She spat. "In school, you push yourself to show off, getting all those certificates and trophies. You act like a business genius just to prove you're better than me, don't you? I know what you're thinking. You want to change Vance Enterprises into Sterling Enterprises. You want me to listen to you? Well, I won't. I will absolutely not let you two get your wish. It was always this." I said palely, "I don't." I was taken in by Richard Vance, a man with no blood relation to me. If I wasn't obedient and hardworking, how could I have established a footing in his home? I had to give something back. So I exhausted myself, rotating through every department of the company since college, working hard to help Richard successfully transform the business when it fell into trouble. With these contributions, I could say with a clear conscience that the Vance family and I were square. Serena, her face full of anger, suddenly bent over. Her expression twisted in pain. One hand clutched her chest, the other gripped the table for support, her lips turning white. I knew her gastritis was acting up. She loved drinking at bars and eating cold foods. Over time, it had become a chronic issue. The drawer at home was always stocked with her stomach medicine. I immediately opened the drawer and poured her some water. Judging by her state, she had run over here without eating. I immediately went to the kitchen to serve her a bowl of warm broth. It was a habit. The house always had soothing yam porridge ready, even though the number of times Serena actually ate it could be counted on one hand. This time, Serena wasn't stubborn. She took the medicine, and, after a while, she was clearly more comfortable. Seeing her brow relax, I spoke calmly. "Serena, let's talk. Let's end the engagement." She laughed loudly. "End the engagement? Can you bear to part with my family's shares? Can you bear to part with the money?" Seeing the serious and calm expression on my face, she showed no mercy. "Is this a retreat to advanced strategy? That trick won't work on me. If you like being a freeloader, just keep doing it." I placed my resignation letter on the table near her hand. "The board has already approved my resignation. After the engagement is annulled, we are even." Her gaze lingered on the resignation letter for a long time. "You say we're even, so we're even? For over 10 years, you ate my family's food, lived in my house. Everyone says you're the old man's illegitimate son. Those rumors are what made my mom sick. You killed her." Her voice choked up as she spoke. "You can have a good talk with Uncle Richard. The reason he took me in, aside from his friendship with my mother, was mainly because he received help from my parents when he was starting his business. There are records to prove all of this." I had told Serena this before, but she never listened. It was useless to say more. I turned to leave. Serena had once been the goddess in my heart. A single sentence from her used to make me toss and turn all night. But 3 feet of ice doesn't form in a single day. It was all over. Serena suddenly chased after me and grabbed my hand. "Don't you love money? Don't you love the title of heir to Vance Enterprises? How can you bear to leave so suddenly?" There was actually a trace of nervousness in her watery eyes. Just then, her phone rang. I saw the caller ID displayed, Julian. I shook off her hand. She rejected the call, looking a little smug. "So you are jealous. You're angry I didn't show up at the engagement. Actually, Julian and I—" She didn't finish before the phone rang again, incessantly. It was all Julian. She answered, listened to a few words, and her face changed slightly. Julian fell and got hurt on set. "I have to go over there. I'll talk to you later." "Goodbye, Serena. Wait for me to come back. We can talk then." Dropping those words, she rushed off, not noticing the packed suitcase in the corner of the living room. I calmly untied the red cord from my wrist and placed it on top of the resignation letter. I got on a plane and left. I ended up in a small, scenic place in the Pacific Northwest, preparing to live a quiet, reclusive life for a year. I turned off my phone and slept for a long, long time. But my sleep wasn't peaceful. The face of that relative, twisted in rage as I used every method to send him to prison, was etched in my memory. When we started the business with your parents and split up, I wanted money. They wanted the company. Why did I become a taxi driver while your family got rich? They cheated me back then. I deserved the company. After I established myself at Vance Enterprises, I had constantly investigated my parents' car accident. Years had passed, and traces were wiped clean, but after exhausting untold effort, I finally sent that evil relative to prison. My life changed because of it. Complicated old matters constantly enter my dreams. When I woke up, I still felt exhausted all over. I didn't know if it was because of years of toil and never sleeping soundly, or if the aftereffects of leaving Serena were hitting me. Waking up, I felt a profound daze, not knowing who I was or where I was. I strolled out of the small courtyard and saw a familiar figure. Audrey. I squinted, thinking I was seeing things. Audrey Hale was my junior at university. I studied business administration, she studied law. We met by chance, and as top students in our respective majors, we had a mutual appreciation for each other. During the process of punishing my relative, Audrey was my attorney. She was conscientious and helped me a lot. But aside from that, we didn't have much personal interaction. What are you doing here? I'm here to go into seclusion, of course. I searched everywhere, and this place is the most suitable for rest and hiding away. What a coincidence to run into you. It was too coincidental. How did she have the exact same objective as me? Are you hungry? I made food. Let's eat together. Audrey greeted me warmly. I was indeed starving, so I involuntarily followed her. She was staying right next door to me. This was a fairly famous vacation spot. Many people rented cabins here, but this was still too serendipitous. Audrey set out porridge and simple dishes. These vegetables were picked right from the garden. The taste is incredible. Try them. Her house was also simply furnished, clearly just moved into as well. Audrey was rigorous and serious in her work, but she really wasn't a master liar. When she said coincidence earlier, she looked involuntarily guilty. Full of suspicion, I turned and stared at her. Under my gaze, she actually blushed. You didn't come here because of me, did you? Audrey's hand paused while serving rice. She bit her lip and didn't speak, which was a default admission. Why? Audrey lowered her eyes, then seemed to make up her mind and spoke. Caleb, do you think we first met at university? I nodded. Yes, at an awards ceremony. We both won awards. Actually, no. The first time I saw you was one night during my sophomore year of high school. Then, I heard a story from Audrey about the past, something I would have forgotten if she hadn't mentioned it. It was back when Serena started skipping class, fighting, and staying out late. One night, while I was out looking for Serena, I encountered Audrey being bullied by some thugs. You were beaten black and blue, but I ran away because I was scared. Later, I found out it was you who saved me. When filling out college applications, I chose the university you were at. I also learned about your relationship with the Vance family. Later, getting to know you and being trusted enough to become your attorney. Those were all unexpected joys for me. Hearing her mention the Vance family, my heart still skipped a beat involuntarily, inevitably thinking of Serena. You don't need to be grateful to me. You acted as my attorney later. We're even. Audrey looked like she wanted to say something, but stopped. It's not just gratitude. I heard you broke off your engagement with Serena. I know about the relationship between you two. I was silent for a while. Thinking back, Audrey's attitude toward me had indeed been very different. She did her utmost to help me chase leads and maneuver between parties. Her contribution to bringing my relative to justice was immense. It really wasn't just professional obligation. It was just that I really had no mind to consider other things, especially regarding romance. This year, I just wanted to live a secluded life in the most leisurely way possible, following my own heart. Suddenly, I remembered something. The statement hadn't been released yet. How did she know I broke off the engagement? How did you know I came here? Audrey smiled slyly. You forgot. I recommended your latest assistant to you. I was dumbfounded. How had I overlooked such a simple thing? I was speechless for a moment, so I just started eating. The food is pretty good. Her eyes lit up. My cooking is excellent. I have several specialty dishes you definitely have to try. In that case, you don't mind me being your neighbor, right? A few days later, I finally turned my phone on. In today's society, so-called seclusion is impossible without a phone. I'd left in a hurry, so I expected a lot of calls and messages. But the sheer volume of notifications freezing my screen was something I really hadn't anticipated. And I certainly didn't expect the vast majority to be from Serena. Caleb, where did you go? Why aren't you answering my calls? What gives you the right to decide on the annulment with just the old man? If I didn't agree, it doesn't count. How dare you break off the engagement with me? How dare you? It seems Serena had gone to her father to ask about me. Before leaving, I had agreed with Uncle Richard that the annulment statement would be released in 3 months. I signed the papers and had my assistant give them to him. That must be how the assistant told Audrey about the breakup, and hearing that news, she decided to come find me. Over just a few days, Serena had called an unknown number of times, at all hours of the day and night. The chat window was filled with screen after screen of her messages. It hadn't been like this before. It used to be mostly my messages in green bubbles, with her occasionally replying with a few words when she was in a good mood. I quickly scrolled through her messages. At first, they were angry accusations. Caleb Sterling, do you have a conscience? You leave just like that? Is this how you repay the Vance family's care? Do you have any heart? The engagement was your decision. Now the annulment is your decision. What do you take me for? You just want me and the old man to give you shares, right? This retreat to advance tactic You really know how to play the game, don't you? I could imagine Serena smashing things as she sent these. She never hid her emotions, partly because Uncle Richard and I had always shown her infinite tolerance. Uncle Richard pitied her for her mother's death, and since he was busy with work and surrounded by mistresses, he neglected his only daughter. And I once loved her. I endured because of love. In later messages, Serena's tone shifted. Julian and I aren't what you think. I started a production company, and Julian is a partner. Confessing to him was just a publicity stunt. It's a common method in the industry. Can't you see that? You always think I'm incompetent, don't you? I wanted to build a career to show you. That's why I started this company. Why did you leave that red string behind? Didn't you say you'd wear it forever? Caleb, my stomach hurts. Where did you go? The last message read, I can't find you. Tell me, please. I sighed softly. I hadn't expected Serena's reaction to be so big. The feeling of losing control must be unbearable for her. That's why she was being so relentless. But it was useless. The old me would have been overjoyed to the point of losing all self-respect over a tiny bit of kindness or gentleness from her. She had been my emotional pillar for years. But when she skipped the engagement party, when she called me a dog, my resolve to leave solidified. Love can fade. Dignity may be late, but it arrives. I turned my phone off again. Life in seclusion was meaningful. Gardening, cooking, hiking, learning to paint with Audrey. Living the way I liked brought immense peace to my heart. Only, Audrey was stubbornly here, and when I said I had no intention of considering romance, she rushed to say we were just friends. Her cooking was indeed delicious, and looking at her innocent, doe-eyed expression, I couldn't say anything else. Returning from outside one day, I saw a person pacing at the gate. It was Serena. She was dressed thinly, her face flushed from the cold. Seeing me, she ran over and hugged me tightly. Caleb, I finally found you. They wouldn't tell me where you went. Do you know how hard it was to find you? How could you do this to me? She was urgent and angry, her body radiating a chill. I pulled her hands away without hesitation. Serena, I told you, we're not engaged anymore. I've resigned from Vance Enterprises. We have no relationship anymore. The statement will be public in 3 months. Then you can be with whoever you want freely. That youthful vibe, Julian, isn't bad. I gestured to my clothes. Besides, don't I look pompous to you in this getup? Out of habit, I was still wearing a dress shirt and trousers. She looked me in the eyes, her gaze non-committal. You say we have no relationship, so we have none. You've been in my house for so many years. The Vance family practically raised you. Would you be here today without us? Also, I didn't sign the annulment papers. As long as I don't sign, I'm still your fiancé. You can't run. I messaged you explaining my relationship with Julian. It was just hype, nothing else. The family can give you shares. Stop making a scene. My heart filled with annoyance. For the first time, I lost my patience with her. Serena, the one making a scene is you. The Vance family did me a kindness. Uncle Richard took me in, and I will never forget that debt. But I've settled accounts with him. I helped the company transition successfully so it didn't go bankrupt. I don't know the family anymore. When I resigned, we cleared the ledger. Where I am today is due to my own hard work. If you think I took something from the Vance family, take it back. Serena's eyes reddened, and she gritted her teeth. You always stood with him. You were on his team, pretending to be good to me. Otherwise, what should I have done? Be like you? Fight and skip school. It wasn't easy to transition the corporation. Without Vance Enterprises, where would you get your wealthy heir status? Where would you get the capital to start your own production company? Her lips moved, but she was stunned into silence for a long while. How can you treat me like this? You weren't like this before. Before, no matter how much of a scene I made, you would never speak to me so harshly. Her tone softened, filled with grievance. So she knew she was making a scene. Because I said we have no relationship anymore. Go back. She looked at me darkly. How can there be no relationship? The first person I ever liked was you. The reason I resented you was because you were close to my dad. That's why my mom got sick and left. I know I was bad to you, but I always liked you. I thought no matter what I did, you would never leave me. I felt exhausted inside. Her mother's illness was genetic, and her father had constant affairs. I had explained this to Serena many times. But you can never wake a person who is pretending to be asleep. I'm not going back, Serena whispered. My resolute attitude was making her panic. You come back with me. Can we go back to how it was before? For the first time, she spoke to me cautiously. Too late. I turned and walked away. I didn't expect Serena to stumble after me. After you left, I realized how much I can't live without you. How much I miss you. I looked everywhere for you. I found a tech friend to locate you through your phone. As soon as I had news, I ran here. I'm cold and tired. She blocked my path, tears brimming in her eyes. She looked weak and pitiful. Seeing her like this, it was impossible not to feel something. Just then, Audrey opened the door and came out. While I was out, she had been cooking in the kitchen. Serena saw her and was startled. She looked at Audrey, then at me, anger flickering in her eyes. Who is she? You two live together. I was about to explain that there was nothing between Audrey and me, but then I realized, why should I explain? Audrey looked at me, then walked over and took my arm. Hello, Miss Vance. I'm Audrey Hale, and I'm Caleb's girlfriend. She smiled sweetly. Dinner is ready. Miss Vance, come in and eat with us. Serena looked at me, waiting for my explanation. Yes, she's my new girlfriend. That's another reason I left you. She gave a short, sharp laugh, glancing at Audrey with arrogant disdain. It's only been a short time, and you found a new girlfriend? Caleb, if you can put on a show, find someone on my level. I can give you half of Vance Enterprises shares. What can she give you? I spoke coldly. Audrey Hale, master's from a top law school, founder of her own firm. She is not inferior to you in any way. She is also my junior from college, and I admire her greatly. I stood holding Audrey's hand in front of Serena. Serena's face turned white. Caleb, I am your fiancé. The corner of my mouth curled up. You didn't even show up at the engagement party. What kind of engagement is that? Serena froze. Her lips trembled, but in the end, she couldn't say a word. After Serena left, looking like a lost soul, I watched Audrey bustling about serving me rice and food, feeling a bit awkward. Sorry I made you act in that scene with me. Audrey pursed her lips in a smile. It was my honor. Although it was acting, liking you isn't an act. By the way, there's something I want to tell you. I originally wanted to wait until your vacation ended and you were looking for work. But hearing Serena offer you half the shares today, I got a little anxious. She opened her phone and showed me a document. I looked at the content in disbelief. You're the heir to Hale Holdings? Hale Holdings was a conglomerate even more powerful than Vance Enterprises. That's right. My mom was the original wife of the Hale patriarch, the one he cast aside. But his two sons are really disappointing. One was a daredevil who paralyzed himself racing cars. The other is a spendthrift prodigal. So, I got the chance to enter the board. My face fell a bit hot. I used to think hiring Audrey as my lawyer was helping her business. Actually, she was looking after me. Also, that time you saved me. Those thugs were actually hired by that bastard brother of mine. I want to invite you, if you want to work after your break, to come to Hale Holdings. You can consider the position of CEO. Most importantly, I like you. Not out of gratitude. Not because I need you to help me secure my footing at Hale. Just because I like you. After you saved me that time, the more I learned about you, the more I liked you. Actually, it's been a one-sided crush of mine for many years. When you left Vance Enterprises and broke off your engagement with Serena, I thought my chance had finally come. That's why I ran here to find you. Don't feel like you have any moral obligation to me because of what I'm saying. The relationship between us is up to you to define. Hearing these words, I was deeply moved. It was a warmth I hadn't felt in so many years. I had merely lent a hand by chance, yet she repaid me with a tenderness I hadn't known in a long time. I'll wait for you, Audrey said, her voice gentle but firm. Life continued as usual. Having someone by my side felt warm and comfortable. Getting to know Audrey from a new perspective, we were very compatible. She liked cooking gourmet food. I handled the cleaning. Perhaps due to our similar upbringings and college experiences, we had plenty to talk about. Under the night sky, we could chat late into the night. I didn't expect Serena to come back again. Her gaze swept over Audrey before landing on me. Can we talk? Audrey looked at me, her eyes holding encouragement and persistence. She tactfully walked away. What do you want to say? I'm sorry, Serena said in a low voice. The always proud, arrogant Serena hung her head. I shook my head. It didn't matter anymore. I am sorry. I've always been bad to you. There were so many misunderstandings between us. When Mom died, I felt so lonely. I hated my dad back then because he was still fighting with Mom while she was sick. So I hated you too. You stood with my dad. You always listened to him. I was narrow-minded and thought you liked my family's money. What I'm sure of is that I really love you. I just didn't know how to face you, how to love you. I spoke calmly, my voice void of waves. No need to say this. It's all in the past. Serena lifted her head, her voice trembling. You were so tolerant of me before. Why can't you tolerate me one more time? Trust me, I'll change. Yes, she didn't understand why I, who had tolerated her for years, was now so resolute. Because the love was exhausted by day after day of cold violence, harsh words, and suspicion. The love had dissipated. She wantonly unleashed her emotions on me, never caring about my inner self. Even when I brought my parents' killer to justice and recovered their assets, she had said to me, Congratulations on getting such a big pile of money. In her eyes, I only loved money. What you call love, I don't consider love. I don't want that kind of love. Serena, I won't wait for you in the same spot anymore. And I won't be your emotional punching bag anymore. We once ate together, lived together, were inseparable. Now, mountains and seas separated us, and those mountains and seas could not be flattened. She looked like a flower struck by lightning, losing its vibrant color. I can learn how to love you. I can learn. Her eyes suddenly lit up again. I am sincere. Look at this. A transfer agreement was handed to me. This is half of the Vance shares. Consider it my sincerity. Can you please? I didn't know how she convinced Uncle Richard to agree to give me half the shares. As long as you come back, I'll do anything. Caleb, I love you. I looked at her quietly. Love had vanished amidst the daily grind of silence, insults, and suspicion. No one waits in the same place forever. So, seeing all this, I felt nothing. We're already over, Serena. I stopped her from speaking further. I won't look back. You should move forward too. Serena burst into tears, crying until she was bent double. But I never looked back. I returned to the house and saw Audrey standing inside, waiting. Her face was full of tension, studying my expression, wanting to ask something but not speaking. I smiled. Want to climb that mountain tomorrow? Hearing me say this, her expression immediately relaxed. The next day, we climbed a stunning mountain together. The weather was spectacular. At the summit, we set up easels and began to paint. Audrey leaned in. Your painting skills have really improved. It's quite artistic. It's because I have a good teacher. She stuck out her tongue, looking quite proud of herself. Luckily, I had her. These days of seclusion were so interesting. 2 people, 3 meals for seasons. It felt like we could grow old together. I reached out and gently took her hand. Do you want to be together from now on? Audrey went from panic to surprise, then immediately squeezed my hand back tightly. Of course. The weather was truly beautiful. The days ahead would be just as beautiful as today.